All right, hello everyone. My name is Disc, and in this video we have a 23 Freehold, and for the week cycle we are Fortified, Afflicted, and Raging. So the main reason I wanted to make this video is to highlight some newfound strengths in our spec. My damage overall for this key was 78,000 damage per second, which is just insane. But since we are a Fortified key, I am running my preferred Mindbender build, so that did help quite a bit. But the MVP here is our changes to Rhapsody, which we'll talk about in just a second. So on the discipline side of things, this is a really standard Mindbender build for me. I'm running full Mindbender. I do not have TE. I just don't think it pairs that well at all with Mindbender, and I just don't like it. I think you can kind of just clean your hands of all of that headache, put it into Long Schism, and get a very similar amount of added value to your group, as long as you know how to maximize Long Schism. And the problem is because we have to switch our targets quite a bit for execute, and then being able to seamlessly return to your Schism target is the hard thing. And long story short, I use focus macros for my Schism. Happy to talk about it more in the comments if anyone has specific questions, but I don't want to dwell too much. And then I have my Mind Blast and Dark Reprimands. I have separate modifiers for those, where it will return to my Schism if I have to lose that target. So all you have to do is know how to maximize Long Schism, and you're golden. So over to the priest side of things, this is where it's quite a bit different, mainly because we have to put 2 points up into our Rhapsody. And I will say, if you're not using Rhapsody right now, you are trolling. It just does so much damage. So top down, we have to take Improved Dispel, and that is for the affix this week. I do use a true mouse over macro, so I can just hover on the 3D model and cast the Dispel. Makes it really easy. But one of the points I had to drop was my Bulwark. So since Vampiric Embrace was nerfed, I decided just to take one cooldown off my screen, gain a little bit extra defense in place of the Bulwark, and switch it over to Leech. And I do have Essence Devourer to pair with my Mindbender, so that's really nice. And then the Holy Nova and Rhapsody. So those are the biggest changes we have right now. It just does so much damage. And when it comes to how to use it, I've had quite a hard time working it into my rotation. I'd love to hear what other people think about it. But I've intentionally placed it outside of my Schism window, in front of my Schism window, unless maybe it's a single target boss fight. But I'll use it as a true opener, just so it resets and starts recharging. And when it comes to our Mindbender, Schism, Shadow Covenant, there's so much button bloat there already. I think it's best to just pull it out. Again, it's all situational. If it's a single target fight within Schism, is fine. But also when it comes to, like, let's say you have 3 to 4 mobs about to die in a pull and you only have a 15 stack, I think sometimes it's better to drop it early, get the extra multipliers from more mobs, rather than waiting for the 20 and have mobs die. So I'm noticing every pack I can at least get like 1.5 Rhapsodies, if not 2. And it's just kind of hard. I feel like it's quite a bit. It's kind of hard to use. Like, you have to walk into melee, which is dangerous. And it's a 20-second cooldown, which doesn't really fit with our other spells. But with a little bit of practice and knowing how to maximize Rhapsody, it is a huge pumper for us. I'm going to splash the damage profile right here. You'll see our Mindbenders at the top with all those torments. We're aiming for 9 torments if we have haste, 8 fully maximized, 7 is our low range. If you're getting 5 or 6 torments only, that's not enough. But then we have our dot, which is a huge driver for us. We always have to keep our dots active. It really pushes your DPS and HPS. And then you'll see right under that, a strong contender for 3rd place is the Holy Nova. It just does insane damage. So really being able to maximize that will bring a lot of value to a group. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and clip over to the key. All right, we are about to get going here. And before we get started, I wanted to remind everybody that I'm trying to become a partner with that new website, Medify.gg. I think it looks really legit. Wago is kind of affiliated with it, it looks like. And it seems like it's right up my alley. It's a website focused all around coaching for games. So they pair you with students. and you can make some money off of it. So I think the website looks really legit. I would like to get over there while it's new and there are not any discipline priests yet. And part of the process is I have to have people vouch for me before they'll approve me as a partner. I was so touched after last week seeing what everyone said as their comments. I think they are public. And it was just so cool to see that. I'm so happy to be a part of the disc community. I think it is such a fun spec. I love it so much and I just love to share it. So I don't know how many vouches I need before I become verified, but I'm not verified yet. So I would like to ask again if anyone has watched my videos over the last couple years and enjoy what I do. Please support me in this endeavor and go over to the website and vouch for me. I think you do have to make an account, but that only takes a second, and I would really appreciate it. So off the top, it's always a good idea to plan where your PIs are going to go. We have a Fire Mage in this group, which is not only great synergy in itself, it lines up really well too. So if you notice outside of his unit frame, I only have one icon, and that's tracking the combustion. That is my system to maximize my PI. You want to react casting PI as quickly as you can for maximum value. I've said it before, but I don't really think there's much value in tracking more than one spell. So yeah, I would say just track one spell. That's the spell you need to track to monitor your PI and to maximize your PI. Yeah, so many people I'll see with like 5, 6, 7 spells they're tracking per person. I just don't think they're ever even looking at it, so I'd rather just get those off my screen.
1.
Okay, so there's my pre-pot. That is one thing I'm working to get better on. In efforts to try and maximize my DPS, pre-pots do make a difference. So off the top here with this pull, my plan is to farm my Harsh Discipline, go straight into Rapture, and cover the group for the first Bellows. And then I'll go straight into my Mindbender. Drop Star early is always a good idea. Staying in melee for my Shocking Disclosure. Harsh Discipline is ramped. I'm targeting the Enforcer. That is our focus target in this pull. Damn. So my Mindbender still had at least one more Torment in him, but the whole group died. That's just how it goes. Still, I did 136k there, pretty good. And in this next section, we have a lot of Bellows, but I don't use any defensives. I just heal it. So in a group of 4, I dot 2 and then Penance. I react there with a Radiance. And I'm really vulnerable. Everyone's vulnerable before my Mindbender's out. So I did wall early just to make sure I lived until I got the Mindbender. There's a double execute on the tail end. And that was a 7 Torment window. So when it comes to the 7th versus 8th Torment, it's a difference if you get 2 double executes or only 1 double execute, 7 or 8. And 9 comes with haste. I also have a macro for those guys. And we chain this into the boss just to have some funnel, which is really great for my parse. My parse. So I also open here with Rapture, just to get Atonements out and to add a little coverage. There's our PI. I dropped my Rhapsody as my opener. And here's my Mindbender. So pretty good Mindbender. I think that was actually only 6. I got no double executes. I think I had the chance too when I watched this back in hindsight, but it was still better than if it was just single target on the boss. Always, well, not always a good idea to dispel those single dots that go out. You kind of need that for your party. And right here, after the bird charges, you can always expect him to poop. So I kind of just give myself a speed boost and make myself in motion while he poops. You dodge the damage. Yeah, and if you watch carefully on my Mind Blast, when my Mind Bender is out, you can really see me fat for that last Mind Blast. A lot of times you just barely have enough time for the final one, as long as you can spam cast it and get it out without delay. And so now I'm trying to line my Mindbender up with execute range. So I'm fully ready, Harsh Discipline is procced. He just hit execute range. The only thing I could have done better is maybe get my Mindbender out a little quicker. Redot. Death. Mind Blast, death. Okay, so I got all 8 torments on that one. And a really powerful sequence for your torments is if you have a double execute ready, but the mob might die before you get all 3 spells off, you can use death and then cast your Mind Blast and lock it in with death. And if you're following what I'm saying, the final global cooldown of the last death happens after the mob dies. So you don't have to fit that extra global into your window. And here we should have coordinated this before we started the key, but we're all kind of like, oh. So I think he was supposed to rescue me, and then I was supposed to grip someone, but that didn't happen. Thankfully, as a priest, if you play your cards just right there, Mind Soothe and Fade, you can sneak by. Really have to come in at a steep angle there not to aggro that guy. Okay, so I'm noticing my potion is available. All of my cooldowns are available. Oh, and I think this one pull is where I threw my parse. So a lot of these guys are going to die prematurely. So I'm favoring all of my AoE spells. A couple Holy Nova spams. Divine Star. Oh, I hope Divine Star. There's my Dark Divine Star. And it's hard to see, but if you didn't notice, this is the one pull in here where I accidentally forgot to cast my Mindbender. So in the heat of the moment, it just didn't happen. So there was a lot of damage missed there. I don't think that's where the deaths are coming from. They're honestly just standing in damage. And my avoidable damage this run is actually worse than usual. I took a frost trap right there, and I think I take another one too. Yes, this whole pull was really sad to watch in hindsight. It happens to me inevitably, and I work constantly on having it never happen. But a lot of times I'll Schism Shadow Covenant and forget to cast Mindbender. It really sucks. But I did get my Mindbender out on the latter half of this window. A lot of times as a group is dying, you could cast Mindbender, but you're going to lose value, so you're holding until the next pull. But in a situation like this, where I know we have to pause and res, there's no problem at all throwing a late Mindbender, because it's going to reset by the time you're up again. So this was all, this pull really fucked my parse, but that's okay. I think a lot of people were taking the charges. I know I took one of those frost traps, but it didn't kill me. But I think all of that was avoidable damage. It wasn't like the healer's fault. But best thing you can do there is spam your mass res button. Get it out as soon as possible. But we did get good value from the potion there. And down here also we have a lot of these small rats, which die prematurely. So you want to focus your AoE spells heavy on the top. Nova spam, Divine Star. Open with dots, that is a huge driver for us. We need as many dots out as possible. Also trying to get melee just in case you have to fear. You'll notice that red bar popping up on my screen. That is to monitor the Icy Nova or whatever it's called. Execute. And I believe that was a 7 torment window. Got 3 deaths, not 4. And also you'll notice, I've talked about this before, but my Schism button is actually displaying the cooldown of Mindbender. Okay, we're going into Rapture to atone the group and just lead with a little bit extra defense. And there's the second one of those I stepped into. So that is the risky part of Nova, is you have to go in melee. And I think I'm out of practice of that from when we had Boon of the Ascended. It looks like I missed my execute there. Happens. I have a full Rhapsody proc. There it goes. Damn, that was not my best Mindbender play either. You see right there the Scrapper with the white dotted line on his nameplate? That is my weak R for fixates. It will make that little noise and glow their nameplate upon a successful cast on you. And I kind of think that's the best way to manage it. And with this mechanic, you always want to run to your left. And in party, we also see white dotted lines. That is for the shot coming from the boss. I put that in there as a shield opportunity. It is not as big of a deal on non-tyrannical. Yeah, I just shielded that one off. So I have PI and I'm just watching for the mage real closely. And in between my Mindbender windows, it kind of goes without saying, but your main job is to farm him off of cooldown. And you do that with your Mind Blast, Smite, Solace, and Penance spells. So also what I'm saying is I drop things like Star or Death. Mainly I just drop Star. Death you get Expiation, so I'll work it in. But you want to favor your cooldown reduction spells. Yeah, Star I usually only play in Shadow Covenant. I drop it outside of it for the cooldown. I guess now we have to work in Nova too. And I think I put my Schism onto the more healthy mob here, but then I take the little guy for his executes. Yeah, double execute. So the mage died there. I could have saved him, but I'm trying so hard for this DPS parse. He also got hit by the grape shot, so he kind of just had it coming. He shouldn't have gotten hit. Fade on the rip. Get my dots out. I really want to drop this Rhapsody. There we go. And now I'm free for Mindbender once Rhapsody's out. Get a double execute in the front. Divine Star. Damn. So I think I was set up there for an 8 Tormentor. But due to that movement, I missed it. I think I only got 6. Oh, and yeah, this was cringe. So the Evoker accidentally hits Lust. There goes my powers. Anyway, I yelled at the tank. I said, go, we have Lust out. So a lot of times in keys, if you really are trying to time it, the name of the game is recovering from misplays. It is really hard to have a fully perfect play. I think the best players are ones that can think on the fly with whatever is happening. There's my PIQ. Mindbender is over. I have a pot rolling. Double execute on the front. Oh yeah. So I was really holding off on that double execute there at the end. I was a little premature and I had to lose 1 torment. But if you play your cards right, you should be lining up your final Mindbender with execute range. A lot of times you'll be slightly off though, and if you just delay as long as you can squeeze in an extra torment with an execute. Yeah, and right here you never want a body pull, so you do want everything mind soothed, and just to keep myself out of harm's way, you fade. Open your dots. Dropping that Rhapsody. Blind Rage is on me. So regardless of your build, you always want to work in a Shadow Word Death early in your cooldown window. It is a shorter cooldown than your Shadow Covenant is. So you should be getting 2 that are amplified by Shadow Covenant in your window. I have a 20 stack here. Let's see if I drop it. I should be sneaking in there to drop it. Come on, come on. Okay, got it. I think I missed 1 target, but I think it's a really hard spell to play. It does not fit easily into our toolkit at the moment. And I think it's honestly by design. It's one of those high risk, high reward spells. I think that's how they want it. Oh yay.
Well, look at that. We caught a pig. Maybe we should move on to a more threatening challenge from the sewers of
Okay, taking a big pull here, waiting for the RP. Getting dots out, ramping Harsh Discipline, drop Rhapsody, and then you're free for the Mindbender. Schism, Shadow Covenant, Dark Reprimand, Mindbender, Mind Blast, Death. That's your opener. Okay, Mindbender is just about spent here. Double execute. Oh man, I missed it. So I think that was a 7 torment window when it could have been 8. A lot of times when you're at the top of the pole, when like tensions are highest, it is so easy for me to miss a torment, even though I have my Mindbender's icon right underneath my tune. I'm like super locked in on those second counters and my Mind Blast Death, but I still miss them sometimes. It's just a really hard spec to play. I think it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of payoff though, a lot of reward. Yep. And with this guy, you really just want to get as many Mindbenders on him as possible. I think you only get 2 the way it works out. And so with this one, I am trying to just delay ever so slightly to set myself up for an 8 torment window. Let's see. Double execute on the front. There's Rhapsody. Death. Yeah. So I would have had 8 torment, but he died. But I was still pretty good.
What a fight! These smelly buccaneers are resilient, and they
Yeah, those 8s are hard. 7 is a lot easier, and you can do it really consistently. 8 really just depends on the pull. 9 is even rarer. I don't think I got a single 9 in here. I definitely want to Rhapsody those guys. Give them a Divine Star too. Oh, no star. So ramping my Harsh Discipline. Always wanted to stand by one of these little puddles. Dark Reprimand Mindbender. So Holy Nova is a 12-yard range, which is quite a bit larger than the graphic itself. I don't think it's a bad idea to go to a stationary dummy and play with its range, seeing where the limits are. Because that whirlwind attack from the boss is not big enough. I can still Holy Nova him. Yep. And same as the mini boss, we just want as many Mindbenders on here as possible. PI did come available, so I'm watching that combustion very closely. Fiending for the last torment. Let's see, spam, spam, spam. We got it. There was combustion. So now that Mindbender is gone, our highest priority is getting him back. And I delayed on this one as well, trying to set myself up for an 8. Double execute on the front. 2, 3 Mind Blasts. Death. Mind Blast. Death. And that was 8. So a lot of times, that was the second time we've done it that I've called. But a lot of times, you don't have enough time for 3 global cooldowns there. So if you go Death, Mind Blast, Death, you can squeeze it in on a mob that's dying and get 8. I think I did that a handful of times in here. It's just a really useful sequence. If you notice, like, you would like to go Death, Death, Mind Blast, and then as you're casting the Mind Blast, the guy dies. Yeah, Death, Mind Blast, Death. And for this pull, we do want to Potion. It's back available. And run our AoE spells on the top. So drop our Rhapsody, get our star rolling. And we do have a Fear opportunity in here with Thundering Squall. You'll see it pop up in red. There is my Fear Bomb just to help out a little. And I'm ramping my Harsh Discipline. I'm holding on to Fade until these guys enter. And we also have a Tank Dot to dispel now. We double execute on the front. Okay. that was not my best Mindbender window, but it was 8. So that's really as good as you could have done on a pull like that. But I stumbled over my spells just a little bit, but thankfully was able to fit all 8 in. I tell you, it's that Holy Nova trying to work it in every 20. It throws a real wrench in my brain. Best thing you can do on a single target that's dying off like this is dot and expiate that dot. And for this pull, we do have that Enforcer. So you want to dot 3, spread your dot to the final 2, and then go straight into Rapture. PI on the Mage as well, dispelling the dot on the tank quickly. Harsh Discipline is ready to go. Boss is targeted. Yeah, and a lot of times there might be an execute opportunity, but just for the safety of the pull, I forego searching for that mob and I just throw a single execute on whom I'm targeting. That's what I did there. And also the cadence of this boss, taking that with trash was a little bit different than a lot of people might see. But before he hits 60%, you definitely want to hit 2 Shadow Covenant windows, maybe Mindbender or without. And then you want to Rapture on the first Whirling Dagger after 60%. But I play a little bit different. I'm fiending for the damage here, playing very aggressively. And I fit 1 more in pre-60%. So really focusing hard on farming that cooldown down for my Mindbender. His cooldown is on my Schism. So he just hit 60. This is where we should place a Rapture. Right after the tornadoes come up, you want to Rapture. And you want to try and give everyone at least 2 shields. But since I had Mindbender out, I just gave everyone 1 shield and moved on. But damn, it looks like I missed another Torment. Nothing makes me more mad than missing Torments. Okay, and for this one we are still. So Barrier is a nice one. So for the very first Whirling Dagger at 60, it's a full move. And then you have 3 that are still. So you can just pump damage with your Shadow Covenant. You can use Barrier for your next still one. But Rapture is best for that first one because you have to move. PI is available. I'm watching for our Mage. Sneaking in for my Rhapsody. There's our PI. And that was a 7 Torment, getting 1 double execute. And that was it. So I was really excited to get this one recorded. I had to run it a lot of times to get one that was like clean and good damage. But if you look down at the damage output, I was right at 78,000 per second, which is the highest I've seen as a Disc Priest as an overall ever. I've not mained Disc but for maybe 4 years, but I've just not seen those numbers yet. Again, Mindbender is not going to work for every single key, especially the higher the key gets. But this is really due to the changes in Rhapsody. So you want to be able to find a system to maximize it fully. There's just so much potential there. I think pulling it in front of your Shadow Covenant window is best. But yeah, here's our damage profile. So Mindbender, Purge the Wicked, Holy Nova at top. Really showing the strengths of our build. Purge the Wicked is always a good one to really manage your uptime efficiently and have full uptime. Mindbender is always aiming for those 8 and 9 torments, 7 at least. And then, yep, we see our shadow spells next. Our Dark Reprimand is almost triple that of our penance, and that is due to the long schism. And also we're getting more expiation and Mind Blast power from that long schism as well. So that's kind of just why I like it. And then I like to look at the crystalline reflection too. That was almost at 1 million. And then this is quite expected. There's not much to it, but atonement is going to be our leading factor in healing. Powered radiance is great. And there we can see the essence devourer if anyone wants to see what that does in the field. So again, thanks everyone for watching. Please give me a vouch over on metafy.gg. And until next time, Disc out.